What if the Indian state is not actually afraid of a meme page, but of what the meme page could eventually become? Because over the last few days, something very strange has happened online. The Cockroach Janata Party, which started as a sarcastic internet joke, is now at the center of account bans, hacking allegations, political accusations, police restrictions, and even national security concerns. Its X accounts were withheld in India after legal demands. Its founder, Abhijeet Dipke, now claims the website was hacked or taken down. Physical events linked to the movement have reportedly faced permission issues. Instagram restrictions followed, and yet somehow the movement keeps spreading. New accounts appear within hours, posts keep circulating, memes keep multiplying, and that is exactly what makes this story interesting. Because maybe the fear here is not the cockroach itself, but the emotional ecosystem slowly forming around it.
The entire thing began after a controversial cockroach remark connected to unemployed youth exploded online. But instead of rejecting the insult, people embraced it. Ironically, emotionally, collectively. And that psychological shift matters much more than people realize. Because throughout history, humiliation has often been one of the fastest ways to create identity. Soon after, the Cockroach Janata Party ecosystem was launched by Abhijeet Dipke. Within days, lakhs of users were reportedly registering online. Petitions demanding resignations began spreading rapidly. Celebrities started following the movement. International media picked it up. And suddenly, this stopped feeling like just another meme page. It started feeling like a symbolic container. A place where frustration, resentment, unemployment anxiety, political exhaustion, and internet culture all began merging together. And maybe that is exactly when parts of the system started getting nervous. Because governments usually know how to deal with traditional opposition. Political parties have offices, leaders, funding channels, physical structures. But decentralized digital movements are different. You can arrest leaders, you can block roads, you can deny permissions. But how exactly do you contain a symbol spreading across millions of screens simultaneously? Especially once the movement no longer depends on one account or even one person. The moment one Cockroach Janata Party account was withheld in India, another appeared almost instantly. Cockroach is back, and psychologically, that changes everything. Because now the symbol starts behaving less like a page and more like a network. That is also why the state response has become so fascinating. On one hand, there are visible attempts to contain the spread, accounts restricted, events disrupted, warnings emerging, political leaders dismissing the movement as mischief. But at the same time, the establishment also seems careful not to over-legitimize it publicly. And that tension itself tells you something important. Because governments across the world increasingly understand that modern unrest does not always begin through protests or political parties anymore. Sometimes, it begins through algorithms, through irony, humor, memes, emotionally synchronized resentment. And over the last decade, the world has already seen how digital ecosystems can shape public perception at massive scale. Arab Spring, Cambridge Analytica, online election influence controversies, Bangladesh, Nepal. Narrative warfare is no longer science fiction. Today, public opinion itself can be amplified, emotionally nudged, and algorithmically shaped in ways most people do not even consciously notice. Which is why BJP leaders and government-linked voices are now openly alleging that large portions of the movement's online amplification may be linked to Pakistan and Bangladesh-based accounts, raising fears of bot ecosystems, coordinated influence operations, and cyber manipulation. Now, whether those fears are exaggerated, partially true, or completely valid is a separate debate. But the anxiety itself is real, because modern influence operations rarely look dramatic. They do not usually begin with tanks, speeches, or revolutions. They begin subtly, through emotional repetition, through visibility, through symbolic identity, through narratives that slowly make millions of people feel emotionally synchronized online. And if done long enough, something that begins as internet satire can start evolving into a parallel pressure ecosystem capable of shaping public mood itself. But this is also where the story becomes much more complicated. Because even if amplification exists, even if hostile actors attempt to exploit the movement, None of this works in a vacuum. No algorithm can force millions of people to emotionally connect with a symbol unless something already hurts underneath. And maybe that is the real reason this story matters. Because beneath all the memes and cockroach imagery, a deeper fault line has quietly revealed itself. Unemployment, digital alienation, institutional distrust. A generation increasingly expressing frustration anonymously through screens instead of public spaces. That is why Sonam Wangchuk's warning is important. Do not shoot the messenger. Because suppressing a symbol does not necessarily remove the emotions attached to it. In fact, sometimes suppression only makes symbolic movements stronger online. And maybe that is the uncomfortable reality modern states are now confronting globally. That influence today is no longer controlled only through governments, elections, or television networks. Sometimes, all it takes is a symbol, an algorithm, and millions of emotionally synchronized screens. And maybe that is what is really making the system nervous. You were watching Fault Lines. I'm Abhijeet.